Focusing on the fundamentals. It's not just for sports. Welcome back to Grant's Pilot Advice. Early on in flight training, your instructor is going to have you do basic maneuvers a ton. Performing stalls, steep turns, and slow flight every lesson may seem extremely repetitive. I know for me, I just saw them as something that was getting in the way of my first solo. The truth is that these maneuvers are so important for teaching basic pilot skills. They are the best way to learn airplane flying characteristics not found in straight and level flight. With each maneuver, the airplane must be controlled in a different way, and these techniques all build upon themselves to help you fully understand how to fly an airplane. In slow flight, we learn how to fly an airplane at low airspeed, near the critical angle of attack. This allows us to feel how the airplane handles in a low speed environment. The controls are mushy and not very responsive as there's less air flowing over the control surfaces. The ailerons are less effective in turning and are more likely to create adverse yaw than roll. Instead, we turn using more rudder and less bank. We are going to learn to be smooth and slow with our inputs. In a low-speed environment, quick control inputs could cause us to depart the flight envelope. Additionally, the airplane is operating in the region of reverse command, where more power is required to maintain a low airspeed. Here, we use pitch for airspeed and power for altitude. Finally, our left turning tendencies are highest in a low airspeed, high angle of attack, high power situation. This teaches us the importance of proper right rudder input to avoid stalling one wing and entering a spin. Remember that stalls are aerodynamic and have nothing to do with the engine. Go check out my video I made a while back for some more information about stalls. We perform stalls to understand how the airplane behaves once we exceed the critical angle of attack. The airplane will buffet due to turbulent airflow over the wings, and the nose will pitch down when the wing can no longer produce sufficient lift to hold the nose up. Both power on and power off stalls simulate specific conditions which we must be prepared for. A power on stall represents a stall on takeoff, where proper right rudder input and coordination are most important. We do not want this stall to turn into a spin. A power off stall represents a stall in landing configuration, where a prompt recovery enables us to minimize altitude loss, which is really important if we stall close to the ground. No matter which stall we perform, it's important to know how the airplane is going to behave approaching the stall, as well as maintaining proper coordination through the stall and executing the proper recovery. Steep turns teach us a lot about how airplanes fly at high bank angles. A key factor in steep turns is lift. In straight and level flight, lift acts entirely in the vertical direction. Once we add a bank angle, our total lift remains the same, but some of our vertical lift has become horizontal lift, which helps us turn. To properly execute a steep turn, we must use a combination of control inputs. Ailerons hold bank angle and change the distribution between vertical lift and horizontal lift. Elevator back pressure keeps the nose up and increases vertical lift to maintain altitude, and the rudder keeps us coordinated through the whole turn. We must remain aware of our altitude, coordination, and control inputs during the maneuver. Attempting to correct a descent with elevator input can cause a steep spiral. Too much back pressure can lead to an accelerated stall, which occurs when we exceed the load limit of the airframe. And poor coordination combined with too much back pressure can cause a spin. We must also be aware of overbanking tendencies, but this is mostly prevalent in left turns due to the left turning tendencies of the airplane. We can use this to our advantage by limiting bank angle with ailerons and maintaining coordination with right rudder. Slow flight will teach you the sensations of flight near the critical angle of attack. You will learn to maintain control using smooth and slow inputs and how to fly an airplane in the region of reverse command. Stalls will teach you the sensations of flight when you exceed the critical angle of attack. Power on stalls require meticulous attention to coordination to avoid spins, and power off stalls require prompt recovery to minimize altitude loss. Steep turns teach us how to combine control inputs to maintain level flight when our total lift is broken up into horizontal and vertical components. We must use ailerons to maintain bank angle, but we also must combine elevator and rudder to maintain altitude and maintain coordination. Finally, all these maneuvers combine together to teach us all the necessary skills to fly an airplane in pretty much any scenario. If you have any questions, leave them below. Subscribe to my channel, and if you're new here, go check out some more of my videos. Leave a like on this video, and sure to explain to others that these maneuvers aren't just a waste of time. Thanks so much for watching, fly safe, and never stop learning.